and I'm, like you said, I'm assuming that we have the same guy here. If we don't, I'll be kind of surprised. It's once again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, forgive me. Devon Witherspoon, maybe Devon Witherspoon, but Devon Witherspoon out of Illinois, 6 foot, 181 pounds. So size, not necessarily ideal, but I mean, the height's good. Maybe you could put on a few extra pounds. 4.44 40 time. So, I mean, athletically, he's not like jumping off the charts, but like he's where you want him. He's in that range. There's not really going to be many. It's going to take like a Tyreek Hill to really make that speed difference any noticeable. But for the most part, he should keep up with any corner. And also, speed isn't everything for corners. So, he could even be able to keep up with Tyreek Hill. That said, I mean, the cover skills were off the charts. The guy could basically run any route you want him to. It looked like he was a receiver out there, the way that he was tracking with some of these people. The separation, it just didn't happen. His instincts, the way that he attacked the ball, I've mentioned this many times on like the last, 3 of the corners. The ball skills weren't quite there. Devon Witherspoon does not struggle with that. I mean, he attacks the ball. Like I said, I mean, many people say this about Trayvon Diggs. When he goes up to try and get an interception, it looks like he's a receiver. Devon Witherspoon looks like that, but like I said, with the coverage skills, he is stuck to them like glue. He's also pretty physical. I know that I said he wasn't like the biggest or the heaviest, but he is pretty physical. I do hope that he can put on weight and maintain that speed, because 181 pounds is pretty light, and I do worry when he has to match up. Assuming they put him on the outside, there could be some teams that want to play him in the slot. And so he could be kind of one of those versatile guys like we see, Tyrann Mathieu in the past, or some of these other different corners, Chris Harris Jr. So he could end up being one of those kind of guys. But I do think that if he can add some weight, he has the tools to play on the outside. I just worry, trying to go out there and tackle like a Mike Evans, like that's just going to be a tough task because of the size and also the ability to stay healthy. We mentioned this with receivers, quarterbacks, even running backs. When you're very light, it's tough to stay healthy out there. So I'm hoping that he can bulk up. But once again, weight is like one of the most correctable issues in the NFL, and his frame, I think, can handle it. But yeah, he really impressed me. Overall, I just thought that he was the best receiver in the class. There were a couple years, I think 2021 and 2019, he didn't record any interceptions. But once again, when you look at the actual film, the guy, like, if you look at the results, you're going to think, okay, he doesn't like attack the ball. But when you look at the film, you notice that like he is very aggressive attacking the ball. And so I feel like that critique of him could be the same as like Jalen Ramsey coming out of college, when many people said he doesn't have the ball skills, and then he comes out in the NFL and he starts getting all these interceptions, and nobody says that anymore. So anyway, Devon Witherspoon, he is my number 1 corner in the class. I'm going to be interested to see who takes him and where specifically they want to play him, because like I said, he is very versatile. So yeah, that's my number 1. What about you?
Yeah, so we have the same number 1. It is Devon. Okay. And I'm not sure if it's Devon or Devon. Yeah, I'm sending you I'm not sure if you saw this tweet when she made it a couple weeks ago. It was Amita Kimes one, where it's like, because you mentioned height, weight, not amazing, but his mentality is there that you mentioned that maybe Christian Gonzalez didn't have, right?
Actually, yes. Let me interject real quick, because I did mention that was a separator for me. Witherspoon has that feistiness, that alpha dog mentality.
Yeah, he definitely had, like, you see it on the field with his physicality. Like, he could easily bulk up and it'll match his attitude, because he. I'll say this. I'll start with this. My comp to him was Jair Alexander. Like, as a Packer fan too, I see like a lot like Jair. He does have, I mean, you can just say top end speed. He's gonna, not gonna be burned by a lot by many of the receivers in the NFL. And he also has the agility and the acceleration, the short area quickness. We mentioned, you have to cover the top receivers in football. Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, those guys, even Devontae Adams. They go in, they can play outside, inside, and they can blow by you, but they can also just dice you apart in the short to intermediate game. You're going to need a corner like Devon Witherspoon that can play across the board, inside, outside, can match up, with those guys. And I will say, like I said, concerned if he can just get a little bit bigger. But once again, his mentality, who knows, he may not even have to, but he obviously should. Because even when he does play, slightly bigger guys, he has not just the positioning because of his athletic abilities, but he's just great at closing in on the ball. Like he has that, I guess, sixth, seventh gear, that extra gear, to kind of close in, especially if he does anticipate, if he correctly anticipates the route or, reads where the quarterback's going with the ball. And you mentioned the concerning 2019, 2021, but, even his numbers have got better. Like I think I saw in 2019 that the QBR when targeted was like 122.6, but then improved in 2021 to 86.9, improving as in, the ratings getting lower as, that year. And then 2022, the QBR rating when he was targeted was 24.6. So yeah, like he said, although you didn't light it up with interceptions, I mean, if hard to get interceptions when you're not being really targeted, and when you are, maybe it's hard to quantify when the quarterback's like, damn, that guy's targeted. Let me just try to throw in a spot where either my receiver can get it or no one can get it. Okay, incompletion, like that. That doesn't really. It's tough to kind of value that as a stat for Witherspoon, and he's there a lot, wreaking havoc. So yeah, I loved him too. I get seeing a lot of other people have him as the number one corner, and yeah, I fully expect him to be the first corner off the board. But like with you mentioned Gonzalez is a little more upside, potential with Gonzalez. So, who knows in a couple of years. But I think Witherspoon with you is the safest, but yet best option available at cornerback in this draft. So, he was definitely a fun watch. And just once again, I know we'll do mocks and stuff, but I do not want him to go to the Lions because that will not be fun for Detroit to possibly have a good corner, but who knows? But regardless, John and I share the same top two. Was there anything else you wanted to add on to Witherspoon that maybe I forgot?
Not anything you forgot. You mentioned your comp was Jair Alexander. I agree with that one. And some of the guys that I thought of when I watched him, and this could just be, I don't know, like a scheme thing, but he really reminded me of J.C. Jackson when he was in New England, and now Jack Jones. And once again, could just be the way that Bill Belichick schemes up his corners. But I was sitting there like watching him, and I was like, I mean, I don't think Bill would take him because I can't tell you the last time the Patriots took a corner like that high in the draft. But he looks like a very prototypical, like, plug and play Patriots type of cornerback.
Yeah. You never know with Bill, but gosh, that would be scary. The two Joneses, because they have Jack Jones and Marcus Jones, we know is good, and then Jonathan Jones. They have the three Joneses basically, and they have Devon Witherspoon.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, they just got to have the rest of the team. Unfortunately, I think they have their bigger needs, but
I don't think they will.
But it is a great comp, like you mentioned, in regards to just route recognition. On top of he does have the ability, even if just to be in the guy's hip pocket the entire time. Just never really physically outmatched. It seemed like, even though once again, like you look at the number papers, 181, just 6 foot, plays, it's one of those where you watch the film and you're just wowed. So